Adversaries come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this.
You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings, and you can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to OnPointe, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. That's at David G. Evans 1. Facebook, Twitter, any device you can get us, hear us, and see us worldwide. You can also call us toll-free, 866-743 8267 866-743-8267. That's 866-74-EVANS. We'd love to talk to you. It's toll free as we seek to talk to you about all those things, all those events of importance, those points in life that are important, but always from a scriptural kingdom point of view. Always, that's the foundation for our responses, for our concerns. So we want you to jump on board like you normally do. Call somebody, tweet somebody, text somebody, share with your friends and loved ones and followers that OnPointe is on once again. My world famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas Smith, is here with us once again. And we are just excited that we have not only some of the most intelligent callers in the world, but informed. And we hope we are a part of keeping you informed as it relates to current events, historically significant events and people, but always with the kingdom of God in mind. How you doing this morning, man?
I'm ready. Ready for the Super Bowl?
When is it?
It's actually Sunday, next Sunday. I forgot to put it on here. Who I thought was going to win?
Who's playing?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
So, wait a minute. That's the guy from New England.
Yeah, Brady, yep. Yeah.
Brady went down there and
yeah. So what? This is what,
how did they turn into a Super Bowl team all of a sudden?
They last year they were 7-9. They had a great defense.
Okay.
Their offense was just not the best because their quarterback.
Okay.
So once they got Jameis out,
yeah,
they brought Brady in, brought one of the best tight ends in, brought a good running back in. They loaded that team up.
Okay.
And they got into a rhythm at the end of the year. And they just
now where's Jameis?
He's in New Orleans. He was the backup to Drew Brees.
Now he might get another chance, but he better do better this time because he's clearly talented. But I think he's I'm not sure if his fundamentals are sound.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking at some of the best athletes in my lifetime, they all talk about the fundamentals being sound.
Yeah.
I mean, things we don't even think about.
Yep.
You know, guarding a guy, having one hand out in the passing lane, so you can either intercept the pass or make it on a difficult for him to make the pass. I mean, just little stuff that we wouldn't even think of. But they look at each other's fundamentals. This guy, how does he stand? How does he move? How does he approach the basket? You know, I watch Michael Jordan shoot. I've never seen him come down. Maybe one time I've seen him come down from a shot on one leg.
Okay.
He always takes off symmetrically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, he practiced like crazy. He was insane with his practice.
Well, he had to be. He was rejected. So just those fundamentals they talk about. And Jameis can throw. When he's on, and when he's not, he's horrible. And then he throws interceptions. He gives them away like pennies. It's just I was a fan of his in college. But I always thought he was going to sabotage his own career. He couldn't get out his own way.
Yeah. His head, whatever his head space was in.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And guys talk to him.
Try to get him together. But I think he got so used to him winning in spite of his mistakes.
Yeah.
The team winning. But then when he got to the NFL, and it was like, this is the pros, bro. It kind of started.
Well, the other thing that became evident to me was he was used to his school, his coaches, and his community covering up his criminal behavior.
Yep. Yeah.
But when he got to college, he's still stealing food out of the store.
I know.
He's getting arrested.
I know.
And then you say, okay, he's going to stop. And then he do something else stupid.
Yeah, something else dumb.
But our society does cultivate athletes, especially the top ones, to be irresponsible because they give them no consequence.
Absolutely.
We'll get somebody to take tests for you. You don't have to study.
Yeah.
You do something wrong to a person, we'll sit down and talk to them, offer them money, cover it up. And they get used to that. And then they get to the pros and think, well, I can do that and still do that.
Yeah, the spotlight's more on you. It's But you're right, especially our kids. We got to talk about black kids. In general, especially for us.
Yeah.
A lot of the white athletes, they're good in school, and they're good in sports. The
Absolutely.
requirement was on them.
Absolutely.
Versus for us, it's just, well, let's just keep.
Yeah, and we couldn't play sports if our grades weren't mostly A and a B here and there.
Yeah.
You start getting C's, they call a coach. He ain't coming back.
Right. Yep. But when you have parents who see their child as the way out,
Yeah.
they'll allow that behavior.
But it's weird. They knew the possibilities, but they knew that the sports career is short.
Mm-hmm.
They also knew that the average athlete does not know how to hold on to their money.
Mm-hmm.
So, they kept pressing us on education. They kept pressing us to be multi involved.
Yeah.
They want us to excel in school and excel in sports at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't excel in sports and you just were okay, that was somewhat acceptable, but the peer pressure was so tough.
Yeah.
At the Thanksgiving dinners, you weren't on varsity, you weren't, man, come on, man. So, then they started academically competing, so what'd you get in science?
Right. Yeah. and the sad part is, I think, I'm not going to phrase this right without it sounding crazy. In y'all's generation, because of the civil rights movement,
yes, sir.
Because where black people
Yes,
were,
sir.
you guys had to excel.
Motivated.
Even though this new generation has to do the same thing, they got into that lull of everything is better.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not.
accepted.
It's not.
I'm good, and
I think that's why there's such a shock.
Yeah.
Because they found out that it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. They still get looked down on. You hear that buzz? Yeah, okay. And all that stuff.
Well, I think that what our younger generation doesn't understand is that there is no more polarizing race than an African American. You walk into a room, you divide the room, like, dislike. You walk into an elevator, you divide the elevator, like and dislike. You walk into a restaurant, you divide.
Yeah.
Should be here, shouldn't be here. I can recall being on vacation one year, years ago, and I'm down at this resort, and I'm at this dinner table, and they sit this couple at the table with me. So the woman says, I need to ask you a question. How can you afford to be here? And so I looked at her.
Bold.
Yeah, and I looked at her husband, and he didn't know what to do. And I realized she just was, wallowing in ignorance. So I didn't go off on her. I said, well, that's a good question. And so I gave her little resume items and all, and I was really more qualified to be there than they were.
Yeah.
Because they asked, what part of the resort was I staying in, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just talking, and she was comparing, and it was only because I was a minority sitting at the table with two Caucasian people.
That happened to us we went on our honeymoon.
Okay.
Spot you recommended that we
Yes,
go to.
absolutely.
We went. So we pull up at the resort.
Okay.
All the people are like, yo, this is nice. And da-da-da. So they call our names. Me and Tiff walk up, and they're looking like, and they were literally surprised that a black couple was going into that resort.
Young too.
Young at that.
Yeah.
But it showed me something. I said, I had to ask God for forgiveness. I was like, this is what y'all get. But it showed me something, though.
Yeah, I remember one year the volunteer staff went on vacation to Jamaica, and they got to the airport, and the gate people immediately tried to usher them to Coach, and of course the person will remain nameless. She spoke up. Oh no, but there was an assumption, and I think it was 5 or 6 of them. So they literally took up half of, or 2/3 of first class. So they, but there was an assumption. We need to see your stuff. Do you really belong here?
Yeah.
But you learn to live with that, and that's a nice segue into. I really do understand and this is going to be emotional connection. I really do understand why the 6th happened. And I believe it happened because we are used to being a part of a nation that does not accept us. and feeling like we've helped to build the nation but don't have a place. I don't think white people are used to that
No,
feeling.
they're not.
And what I saw that day was an expression of that. How can this be my country and I'm losing my spot?
Mm-hmm.
And that was an unfamiliar emotion for them, but it's something that people that are not Caucasian in this nation deal with almost every day of their lives.
Right.
Of being marginalized, not just because of their skin color, but because of a lack of opportunity and all that. And I watched these people on the 6th, and they looked like a bunch of folk that felt pushed aside, felt like there was no opportunity, but really were not used to navigating that emotion every single day of their life.
Right. And have a violent reaction to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to ask one of them one day, when you say it's our country, what exactly do you mean? I want to hear them to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Because you're implying
It's a racial
that
statement.
for everybody else,
It's
not their
it's a
country.
racial statement.
Just be honest.
Now, when asked that question, I've asked it before.
Okay.
Because I've asked 2 questions: our country and the American people. That statement, the American people, says a ton of things to me.
Yeah.
Does that include me? Because what you're saying the American people want, I don't want.
Right.
What you're saying they believe, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So am I not part of the American people?
Right.
That has always, and that to me, that has screamed of a class type of system, invisible, unspoken but real in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Because I'm 69 now, been here my whole life.
Yeah.
So I think I'm one of the American people.
Yeah.
But the other piece of what I was going to say was this: we're used to dealing with that emotion, and used to being told that a violent response to it is incorrect. But on the 6th, people justified their violent response based upon this emotion of, I feel like I'm being pushed aside.
Yeah. Yep. And to think that marching in the streets peacefully.
Yep.
Now, we're not justifying the riots and stuff. We're
No,
talking about
never,
the
never.
peaceful parts.
Right.
Is considered an inconvenience. They're basically saying this ain't y'all country.
Right.
And this is peaceful.
You don't have a right to do that.
You don't have a right to do that. Not tearing stuff down. Not
But you got a right to invade the Capitol.
But you have a right to invade the Capitol.
But they're saying now that a lot of the people feel as though they were given permission. That their defense, which is not going to float.
Yeah.
Although, I'm not sure if I had broken into the Capitol, that I would be on house arrest at my home.
Right.
I'm really not sure.
Not
of
at
that.
all.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't being a little facetious.
No.
And
if you ate organic food while you were in prison, I don't think the judge would say y'all got to feed him organic food.
Well,
I doubt that.
Good and darn well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to start filling requests. I'll ask for greens and all the other stuff. They're going to start filling requests, but organic food.
That they have to feed this guy organic food because he has an issue with his stomach and.
Look, you're in jail, man.
Yeah.
And the judge, I bet you the judge has denied less eccentric requests to other people. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is these people are shocked they're being arrested. They're literally like,
because they thought they had permission, and my former president has been telling them since he's been campaigning, rough them up. If you get in trouble,
I got you.
I'll pay the legal bill. He's been casting that type of mindset. He's been building that mindset since the campaign.
Yep.
I mean, encouraging them. If somebody doesn't like us, beat them up out there.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
Yep. Did you hear the head of the Proud Boys is an FBI informant?
I heard he was. Yes.
I didn't get into reading too much about it. So he's leading this charge, doing all this stuff, and the whole time
And he's an informant.
he's an informant.
So what he was doing was playing both ends. He just did. This is the most. These are the gang that can't shoot straight. The most inept group of people that I've ever seen. National broadcast. No masks. Even a mask for COVID would have done a little better than none at all.
Right.
And then stream your own crime.
Right.
But as I watched all that, I'm thinking, okay, why are they being this blatant? because they think they have permission,
Yep.
and they think they're going to be just fine. He's just going to make this go away.
Yep. And it's all going to be all good.
He's going to be president tomorrow, and this is all just going to go away.
Yeah. And then they thought the police were on their side, or some of them were.
Some of them were.
But here now, if I'm a Capitol Police officer today,
Right.
I'm not sure how comfortable I would still be working there after that 6, knowing that they left us hanging for hours out there and didn't send any help at all.
I wouldn't be comfortable at all. But what it shows me is that the administration, and I don't like that every other president in my time has been responsible for what has gone on in the country while he was president.
Yeah.
I don't see what happened with my previous president, why he's not responsible for everything that happened under his watch.
Yeah. That's true.
It makes no sense to me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So it's either, you can't just take the credit when it's good, and when it's not good,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. It's not you're the president. You can't feign ignorance,
Right.
because we know you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows.
So I don't know. I find that this the whole thing appealed to me as an explosion of an emotion that people were not used to dealing with,
Yeah.
as well as thinking that, and I've said this for the last couple of years, that I believe there is a supremacist element in the Fraternal Order of Police, in the military, anywhere where you've got large groups of national groups of people. I don't see how you can think it can't.
It's all in there.
The difference is, a friend of mine told me this yesterday, is that the Proud Boys and those guys' parents were the Ku Klux Klan guys. And the Ku Klux Klan guys had sense enough to put hoods on.
Yeah.
This group doesn't.
They don't, yeah.
Ku Klux Klan guys, we're coming at night with the hoods, you're not going to know who we are.
Right.
These guys, daytime, streaming their own stuff.
Just dumb. In there, like, we got our capital back.
No, you didn't.
Our country's back. We got it. We took it.
You didn't.
Like,
You didn't. And the mindset of President Trump is going to get us off. Literally, people were in jail waiting for their pardons to come.
Yep.
They don't understand. Their chess, I don't even know if they're that valuable. They're checkers pieces to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about them. He just wanted to use them for what he wanted to use them for.
Absolutely.
So you got the guy, the Tiger guy's got a 20-year sentence.
Yeah. Tiger. Yeah.
And he's going to be in jail for 20 years because he just assumed I'll do this and I'll get off because the president's going to give me a pardon.
He gonna take care of me. And I wonder how many the Congress people who helped them navigate the building.
It's coming their way now. It's coming.
I wonder, what's going to happen.
It's coming their way now because New York Times yesterday wrote a story on the congressmen and senators that had appeared at their events previous to the 6th, listed them, named them, named the events. So they're drawing the net on that right now.
Okay. Because they can't get off.
You can't. You can't have brought confusion into our house and then say, after you get caught, after it doesn't work, only after it doesn't work, I think we need to get along.
Yeah. Nah, that's not how reconciliation works.
No, that's not. We got Thomas from Fort Lauderdale on line 1, and we have Danny. Oh, Florida's in the house this morning. Also from Florida also. So 1-866-743-8267. Excuse me, stammering there for a minute. 866-743-8267. As they finish loading up the phone calls today, line 1 and line 3 and line 4 is coming now. You guys are beginning to drop on. Thank you for having patience. Listen to our banter for just a second.
Yes. Yeah.
The GameStop thing is pretty hot going on, and the double standard in our country, is in every major area of concern, is so blatant.
Obviously blatant. It is horrible. Now the SEC now they're saying that they're going to get on Robinhood and those apps for restricting people.
Why?
I guess because of the uproar of everything.
But they don't mind when the common man loses billions of dollars to these same people.
Absolutely.
The thousands that are thrown out of the jobs by these same people.
Absolutely.
So now that the table is turned for a moment,
And these millennials and all these people doing this, they're holding fast. They're not they're holding on to all these stocks.
They're trying to make them pay the margin.
They're going to try to make them pay. Yeah, but you know, now I'm not saying that revenge for a Christian. I'm not saying that revenge.
Yeah.
But
you sound like David right now.
I know. I hate to say it. I'm not saying it's right. I say I understand it.
But here's the thing:
you can't do wrong to people.
That's right.
Yeah.
But here's what we know.
Okay.
Capitalists. A lot of driven by greed. And when you're greedy, you normally end up consuming your own young.
Yeah.
Happened in the housing market, handled in the banking market. Now these hedge fund guys are really, really upset because someone other than them are making the money. They're used to people losing money.
Yeah.
Only their investors make money. But if they have to close down a couple plants and all, they don't care about that.
Not at all. Literally cost the whole economy, crash it, make money off it too in the process, and don't care. I almost said something else about.
Yeah. I know a guy, know him personally, whose job was to go around and close up corporations. He was involved in the downsizing of Scott Paper, which was out there near the airport. I knew him well, and his thing was to go in, and for him to cause 30,000 people to be jobless was no big deal.
That's cold, man.
His compensation was his money. Stockholders were taken care of, and he kind of blanked out any concern for anybody else. And he did it over and over again around the country.
I wonder sometimes when they did a study on a lot of people that are wealthy, how miserable they are in their personal life.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes those who get it by those means, if it has a psychological and emotional effect on them.
I think it would have to after a while. If you have any humanity at all, I think it would have to. It would have to touch you. Let's go to Thomas from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning, Thomas. How you doing? Welcome to On Point.
Good morning. Good morning, Bishop. You're talking about this guy from the Proud Boys. He's from down here in South Florida.
Where is he?
And so, I forget his name, but he was the president of their group, and in their inception, supposedly he was involved in some drug trafficking. He got busted, and in turn became informant in lieu of going to jail.
Yeah. That's what the feds do. They manage it. Yeah.
I'm just wondering how his buddies now are going to look at him knowing he was a rat on the inside.
Now, was he an informant on the Proud Boys?
Yeah.
So is he still alive?
He's still alive, and he was on the news here 2 days ago saying, none of this was true. But all this evidence has, popped up that,
Well, they wouldn't have said that if it,
Yeah.
And they know people within their ranks that they're going to start putting two and two together.
Yeah.
So
some of them are hiding right now.
Well, I know they are.
Him and the other guy that helped get the rally, they got a warrant out for him because they can't find them.
They will.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But
anytime the FBI gets on national television and says, you might as well turn yourself in because we're coming, they said, we'd rather you knock on our door rather than we knock on yours, is what the guy said.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, the FBI is throwing the gauntlet down. We coming for you. I mean, what kind of stuff is that?
And I believe them too.
Oh, yeah, they're coming. They're coming. And I wonder, in Florida, tell me how is the distribution of vaccine going down there? Is your governor gathered himself and is making sense yet? How's it going?
The local congressmen down here, they are screaming bloody murder, especially the mayors. I have a very good friend who is 65 and over, and he told me he tried the last 2 weeks to try to get an appointment.
Yeah.
And finally he got through, and they told him he had like 22,000 people in front of him.
Do you know what happened? One of the reasons why?
Why?
People knew that Florida wasn't giving out the vaccines as much.
They started flying in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, tourists.
From other countries.
Yeah.
Coming in to get it.
Yeah.
And now I think you have to show evidence that you have a place there or you live there.
Yeah. You got to do residency now.
Well, there was a famous singer who came in 2 weeks ago and first, was bragging about she had a mother vaccinated and she was from Argentina. Well, that hit the news, and of course, there's a mandate now where you have to prove residency because we do have a lot of people who come down for 6 months.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians. And they have to show a electric bill or some other kind of proof that you live here on a consistent basis. So they are trying to handle that.
They actually shut down distribution of vaccine to a medical center in a part, I forget what state it is, because they were distributing vaccine to people that were not supposed to be on our list. They went to a first come first serve when they had appointments. So the government shut them down for 6 months. Now I get maybe they're upset, but why don't you just shut the place down and hire somebody else to do it? You don't cause the. I wouldn't. What's wrong with people? I mean, politicians are like.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed that they're trying to give us the impression they have, 300 people in Congress and the Senate? How many
probably
people?
around there, yeah.
Around 300 folks.
Yeah.
How you can't count the number of committees they have.
Committee on committee.
So if you've got
Congress is 438.
438. Okay, 430 just in Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just national one, not considering the state.
No, I'm talking about the guys in Washington.
Yeah.
So with all these committees, say they got 80 committees, okay? Just say 80 committees, 40 on each side. Why can't you do more than one thing at a time?
Right. And do it right.
What's the need for all the committees if you can't do more than one thing at a time?
Yeah. They got 250.
You can't walk up the stairs and chew gum. I'm so tired of hearing, well, this will be a distraction.
Yeah.
Why can't you just work?
Right.
Get your trust your committees. They bring it. You like it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
You talk about it. The committee brings something that has been vetted to a decision-making process. But you've got all these committees, but they're giving us the impression they can only do 4 or 5 things a year. That's stupid.
It is.
And in this crisis, I heard a guy say yesterday that, it's not really that big of an emergency. That they didn't need an emergency packet. We need to start calling it that because it's not, these people have no idea of what normal working people are going through.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it has created such a lack of sensitivity. What were you going to say, Tom?
Oh, no. Partial politics. That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at this guy, Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader, who downed the president 2 weeks ago, but was down here in Mar-a-Lago.
Kissing his ring.
Past week. Yeah, getting his ring. Kissing the ring. So that's part of the problem, I think. In Washington.
I'm going to let you go, Tom, but I'm going to throw something out to the audience and see what they say. Thanks for calling, man.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. So, consider this. Everybody's saying that they think that, McCarthy and all these guys are trying to maintain the loyalty of the base because that they think that if they maintain the base, that'll give them victory. All right, now. The numbers don't make sense. There was an 8 million people difference in the national election. There was some difference between 300, 200 some, or whatever it was, electoral votes. So the numbers don't make sense.
Right.
So that cannot be the reason they're doing this. There's got to be another reason that they are trying to ignore the green lady.
Yeah.
It can't just be. It has to be, we're going to either stick together no matter what. We're trying to maintain our position and keep this division going. When the easiest thing for them to do would be able to say, we lied, we shouldn't have supported it, now can we go forward?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, you're making too much sense.
Okay.
I think I think Trump is okay with dividing the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I think he wants to split it.
And the stupidity of that is this. If you divide the Republican Party, then you have 2 other parties that are going to be in vast minority to the one major party.
Yep.
It's the dumbest thing you can do.
Exactly.
It's like independents have drawn votes off in every election. Doesn't make sense. You got to rally together because if your numbers are down anyway, you don't want to divide the divided.
I'm an independent bishop.
Well, I know that, but in this context, they're not going to. But I'm wondering who's at the helm here.
Yeah.
Who's driving this thing?
The Republican side.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They got to find a new party leader. But like you said, they're going to Trump to help them win these elections in these different places.
Yeah. But that's not going to do it because those ideologies are not with the majority. See, what we're watching is a minority of people within a shrinking population.
Right.
They're not a majority.
Yeah.
So the QAnons and all those others, they're going to have supporters, but they will never be
the
a majority of the way people think.
Absolutely. Totally agree with this.
So the whole strategy doesn't make sense. It's like no one's at the wheel of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except the crackpots.
Yeah. Yeah, because the two congresswomen,
Unbelievable.
With the gun and the QAnon lady.
It's just crazy.
They're trying their best, but it's not going to work. And now classic conservatives are trying to get everything back to normal, but you help create an ideology.
Well, and here's the thing. If they make these moves now, they've got almost 4 years to show people they can get stuff done.
Yeah.
That's why people vote for you. Not because you have some weird ideology that they're taking the skin off babies' faces and making masks out of it. I mean, come on. Yeah. The average American doesn't think. The average American thinks that's bizarre.
Absolutely.
I
think Biden's going to lead from the center, which he should.
Okay.
Because if he goes too far to the left, it's going to help create another far-right base.
Absolutely.
And those classic conservatives,
and he knows that.
And that's why I think he's going to lead from the center.
But he cannot play softball with these guys.
Oh no, yeah,
no, because they've been playing hardball for the last 8 years.
Yeah. And McConnell and them
12 years actually.
Yeah. McConnell and them need to get a spine and try to get their party back to somewhat of the center.
Yeah.
Or if not, it's
because this radical. Because in response, when you look at it, the Tea Party was a response to President Obama.
Yeah.
So that was a radical reaction. And we're getting some of the same reaction now because Mrs. Harris is the vice president.
Yep. And if I'm tired of Christian white men, let me qualify this. Name me some black men calling her Jezebel.
Why are you calling her Jezebel?
Because to them it's prophetic. Biden is Ahab, she's Jezebel. She's pulling the strings behind the scenes. This whole baby killing thing.
This has got to be the same guys that said that President Trump was
was God's man. He was Cyrus.
Cyrus. When everybody knows he's Saul.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Either Pontius Pilate or Saul all day long. Come on, man. Read your Bible.
Absolutely. So just because she's a woman, she's all of a sudden a Jezebel.
That's so ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's not. First off, Jezebel is not a female. Jezebel is a spirit in the Bible. Identified, I believe, in Revelation as a spirit.
As a spirit. Thank you.
Okay, so a Jezebel spirit can be a man or a woman.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's 866-743-8267. We've got Robin from Delaware, but Danny is next, and then Keefe from Lawnside. Let's go to Danny on line 3. Good morning, Dan. How you doing?
Good morning, Bishop. How are you doing this morning? Pastor Nick staff.
We're trying to make it all right. It's 21 degrees up here today.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking my thunder away from me, Bishop.
I did it on purpose.
It was cold yesterday.
I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at Pastor Nick, and you know what the question was going to be.
Yes, I did.
You took the wind out of my
That's right. We were 28 yesterday. We're 21 today. So it is finally wintertime in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know the feeling. The temperature went down, so we were in the lower 70s. So it was
I thought it was 52 down there.
No, not yet.
Somebody from Florida said it was, maybe a different.
That was last week, wasn't it?
Okay.
In northern Florida, Tallahassee, it was 52. Yeah. Okay.
In northern Florida, it was 52. So up north it was colder. Okay, all right.
But, it's just a comment on something that you were talking about earlier about Jameis Winston.
Yes,
his problem was that he had a vision problem, and he did not want to get his wear the glasses or have it
pride.
Yeah, but he finally did. If you notice, in his college years, whenever he looked to the sideline or he was throwing, he was always squinting.
Yes.
Yeah, that was his problem, but that has been corrected. And the coaches in New Orleans, and the secret is that they have an excellent receiving coach, and he's an assistant to the offensive. He's very good. I think his name is Johnson. His last name is Johnson.
Yeah.
But he's all about timing. So whoever they put in there at quarterback, they always have that clicking. So
they can build him a helmet with his prescription in the lens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That whole lens can be in his helmet, can be his prescription.
Yeah.
Now, something that I was inspired with, that I meant to talk to you about last week, was the inauguration itself. I was so inspired, and it reminded me of you and Bethany.
Okay.
Which is that I saw a bridge, and I went back to the bridge that you have at the church.
Okay.
Where you bridge everyone together, the old, the young, in between. Everybody was on the same page.
Yeah.
And the young lady, I think Amanda Gordon, I believe.
Gorman, yes.
Yeah. When she gave that speech or that poem that she had did herself, I was inspired in knowing that. It reminded me of the way that you have your service, the way the church operates, where everybody's working together.
Yeah.
No big eyes, no little U's. Everybody's working together.
I thought it was a major political statement. Just the mix.
Yep.
Not only of vice president and president, but the mix of everyone, and then his cabinet choices and the jobs that had not been filled.
Yep.
Yes.
All speak of diversity. And you know what's really strange, though? Pastor Nick taught me this. That look of diversity is actually a threat to those who feel as though they were the oppressors at one time. They're uncomfortable with that, with the picture of diversity.
Right. And it just gave a comparison. In fact, when at work, when we were talking about it, and everyone was inspired, and the people that we had a situation where at the job where you had some people, you could tell which side of the fence they were leaning towards.
Sure.
You know, and we had one person that did not believe, and that said that it was a whole hoax with the COVID and what have you.
Wow.
And come to find out that person was one that ended up with it.
That has been quite consistent as a person who pays attention to patterns. A lot of people who were very vocal about, this thing is not real, you're overreacting, and, this is a whole hoax. A lot of those people got sick, and many of the ones that I know from the faith community died.
Yes.
And the politicians were saying that were the first ones to get the vaccine.
I'm sure they were.
They were one of the first people to get it. Pushing all that mess, as soon as it came out, boom, got it. They don't care.
I say this, Danny, and I'll let you go, man. Tell my sister I said, hey.
We'll be blessed.
All right, talk to you now. Bye-bye. I say this. I came to the conclusion that they did not care after the school shooting in Connecticut.
Yep, Sandy Hook, yep.
Sandy Hook. When that went down and gun laws didn't change, not even a more stringent application process. That's all they were asking for. Didn't want anything to do with that. Then they got shot up at their own softball game.
Yep.
I said, well, if anything's going to move them, but then I thought, if they're not moved on the children, they're certainly not going to move on the adults.
Yeah.
Then the kids in Florida got shot.
Yep.
And I came to a conclusion a long time ago that some of our Republican politicians, not all of them, do not care about the everyday working person.
Yep.
Because if the kids wouldn't motivate them, I don't know what else to think.
Yeah. And like you said, one of your own got shot at a softball game.
Man.
And it could have happened to one, but they
remind me of people who really prove they live in a protected world.
Yeah.
That is totally disconnected from the people they serve.
Right.
And that has caused an insensitivity, a lack of humanity as it relates to the real problems that people have.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, man.
Because they tell me $900 billion was approved already for relief. And from what I'm hearing, they haven't distributed much of it.
Yeah, it's going out slow.
Why?
They're still fighting over how much.
Well, that was under Republican control at the time, right?
Yeah, but now I think Biden's going to put in a $1.3 trillion plan now to see if he can do the 2,000 for everybody.
Okay. Which, after 9 months, will help but it needs to be $2,000 a month to help supplement, not $2,000 to make up from February
Right. Yeah. Right.
to February.
Yeah. Yep. And some of the people, this is my thing. The Republicans, those people that are against it, can say you're worried about the deficit, worried about the budget, but you can pass a $1 trillion.
They are not worried about the budget.
They're not.
Come on.
You can fund the military with stuff they don't need.
Come on, man. They're not worried about the budget. They're not worried about the budget. It's who the budget is for.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't mind passing a $1.3 trillion tax break for 600 people in the country. 600.
Yep. And what people don't realize, I think the tax increases from the tax cuts kicks in, I think, this year or next year.
Yeah.
For people that make under a certain amount of money.
I think last year people paid that hadn't paid in 25 years.
Yeah, that was the one, and I think it goes up again. I think it graduates
because
every
it was designed for the middle and lower income people to pay for it.
Yep.
And somebody said to me something crazy the other day that look at what he's done. Talking about President Trump. I said, well, tell me what he's done. Well, the economy's better. And I calmly I said, tell me how. Well, the stock market and investments and all this. So I said, so you're heavily invested in the stock market?
Right.
No. I said, so you follow the bond market because of, well, no. Then how is the stock market improving, helping you?
Right.
Put food on the table. And the person went blank on me.
Absolutely. Because if that was the case when the stock market hit that crazy high under Obama, why were they saying the economy was terrible?
Because they had to.
Yeah.
And the reality is that here's the other thing. They talked about how the GNP had this meteoric rise. But they didn't talk about the meteoric fall that preceded that.
Yeah.
So when it did go up 32%, it only went up half as much as how it fell.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking at it like, am I the only one that reads a graph around here?
Right.
You show this thing like this, and you show this thing like this, and all you're talking about is this.
Right.
What about the fall?
Absolutely. And having $100 in the stock market ain't much money. I'm sorry.
Don't tell me because your stock went up from $100 to $112.
Right.
Your economy's better. You can't. You try to take it out, you're going to end up losing a third of it in taxes.
Right. And with housing prices going up and everything again, it's just, come on.
They said you can't even get a house now.
Okay.
Because the prices are so high and the inventory is low.
Right.
But the prices are through the roof. Okay.
Even for fixer-ups or rehabs now.
Come on, man. Let's talk to Kife. Hey, man, how you doing?
All right, Bishop. How are you?
Doing great. Welcome to OnPointe again. What's your comment today?
Well, my thing is this. I've been, again, just following stuff on my phone where it's, this and that and everything else. And I don't know if you can think about it. Do you think that our government, especially in Washington, D.C., and how can I put it? Do you think our government in Washington, D.C. and here and anywhere else has gone topsy-turvy of this whole mess about, voting on a stimulus check or trying to calm down people of, what happened after the riots and, all this mess across the U.S. And I think to myself, when will it ever stop? But it won't. But my question is this. How can we move forward if things are still happening, not just in Washington, D.C., but everywhere, overseas or, down south or wherever things are happening? And I'm saying to myself, Lord, can we ever move forward with a peaceful nation and stuff like that? But to me, it's kind of crazy. I mean, what would you think about what the government is going to do about this in the next coming years or whatever?
Well,
among this COVID mess.
What I think has to happen, we first have to turn your device down because we're echoing. What has to happen is there's got to be a stabilization period.
Okay.
The stabilization or recovery, whatever you want to call it. There's got to be a stabilization period. You know, isn't it amazing that the Law and Order Party became the lawless party during the last 4 years?
Yeah. I do
So,
agree with
so it is not retribution to take us back to where the law is working as best as it can for most people. So
Okay.
there is no recovery without what will really happen, Kife, is this: if all these crimes are dismissed as let's just turn the page,
Mhm.
you're going to really see some anarchy after this. Because if what we saw and what is being revealed every day is not dealt with firmly, you're going to set a precedent for lawlessness in our government.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. Do you think that, can we recover from anything, including this mess we're in? Like, you know, the COVID
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we can, and I think what happened is this. If you look at New Zealand and Australia, they're going to football matches and tennis matches in stadiums without any fear,
Right.
because the people finally realized we want to live. Americans have become drunk on liberty, so drunk that they've lost their compassion for their fellow man. Now, of course, this is not going to be 100%, revival, recovery, restoration. But if the core of America, and that doesn't mean anybody's color, if the core of America begins to start having compassion on one another, then we'll stop being so cavalier about this virus. Get everybody vaccinated, get everything back on track. But it's going to take what I believe President Biden is trying to do is this multi-pronged approach. He doesn't have the luxury of being able to pick one thing and concentrate on that for 9 months.
true.
He doesn't have the luxury for that.
That's true.
So he's in a real unique position where he's got, when they ask him what's your priority, he's got 12 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they all have to be dealt with. And I believe a government as large as ours, with over 400 or 500 legislators, should be able to handle a 12-pronged problem.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You're
My
right about
thing
that.
is basically-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say this, and this will be my last comment. The one thing I believe is that, the government has just, I think about the government here, not just here in New Jersey, but everywhere,
hmm
thinking, okay, we're in this mess, what can we do? And then it feels like it's, going back forward, because I hear China was, as last time I heard about China, was that they're recovering, but recently I think they have been back in lockdown again. But here in the United States, we're up a steady uprising. I mean, just because we're trying to get these millions of vaccines distributed among everyone, it's hard, because now I hear that they could be running out, and then there's a setback of how many claimants are supposed to be settled. And I'm saying to myself, okay, what are they doing now? They're really pushing us to a limit of, well, how many people are supposed to be booked? How many? And I'm saying, well, what can you do?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Keith, and I'll tell you this and I'll let you go. But there's another more basic problem.
What's that?
The vaccine urgency is a response to our population in this nation's irresponsibility. And also, the government keeps making the same mistakes. We see a little light, and the first thing they do is send people back into congregational situations. And then there's an outbreak, and everyone acts like they don't know why it's still perpetuating itself, because every time we get ready, we see a little light, they start, they open up gyms, restaurants, every other thing where you congregate, where stuff and none of these buildings are equipped to handle exchanging the air every minute that you're in there. So you're talking about a multi-million-dollar renovation for all these buildings that people occupy, that these people are not in position to fund. So we got the same problem. But the thing is, you got folk that are talking about it's constitutionally wrong for you to tell me to wear a mask, constitutionally wrong for you to tell me I can't go to church, and they're trying to bend to the whims while people are dying. Over 400,000, that's a travesty.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And our governor and everybody else's governor keep looking for ways to stop people from complaining, but they're not stopping people from dying.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, man. I gotta let you go.
All right, Bishop.
We gotta have Robin. Gotta have her 3 minutes. Hey, Robin, how you doing?
Good morning, Bishop and
Morning.
Pastor Nick.
Hi.
How are y'all this morning?
Doing fine. How you?
I'm good. First, let me comment. You and Pastor Nick are looking sharp. I love that outfit you have on, Bishop.
Thank
And
you.
Pastor Nick, I love that sweatshirt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Y'all showing off this morning.
It's Robin crazy.
But no, I just wanted to call in and say thank y'all for having the financial meeting Thursday night.
Yeah, that panel was good, wasn't it?
Learned a lot. In fact, I'm gonna call
Yeah.
the gentleman, Mr.
Feast.
John,
Mhm.
on Monday because I do have some questions.
Good.
But I just hope Robin Hood is okay because that's where I invest my money. So I just hope they come out okay.
Yeah.
Just come
Well,
okay.
good. You doing all right otherwise?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good. Oh, I have a question. I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
What you feel about the cannabis stock? I think I'm saying it correctly. Now, is that dealing directly with marijuana?
No way. No, how you cut it? It's pot. No, you can call it cannabis. You can call it what you want. It's pot. And
Okay,
you may not know this that we own the Moby Dick's property down the street.
Okay.
And Moby Dick's, when we bought the property, of course, Moby Dick sold liquor. And we had an opportunity to get the liquor license, which we probably could have sold for about $1 million. But ethically and spiritually, I could not purchase the liquor license. I couldn't put it in the deal because if I'm this biblical guy, we're this biblical church, and couldn't say it was going to be done in secret. Sooner or later, it was going to come out. Big Bad Bethany owns a liquor license and trying to sell it. So we couldn't do it. So I'm not investing in cannabis because
Okay.
I
thought
don't.
that makes you high wasn't part of that.
Well,
The medical part, the medical.
Yeah, they lying. Some of that stuff's in there. So that's they steadily saying that they making you high, but people steadily using it. They getting high. But I mean, it works for some people. It doesn't work for others. For me, I can't invest in pot. Because in actuality, what we really could do, we got about 19 more acres out back into the trees. We could put a nice little cannabis factory out there and just
it's legal in Jersey now.
It's legal in Jersey, but we can't do that. We're a church.
Right.
It's
that's why I wanted to.
You can take the THC out.
Yeah. Spiritually, the means does not justify. Right. So there might be money in it, but we can't do it.
Right. God has another way for it.
Yeah, he's got another way. Got to trust him now.
Yep.
Amen. I trust.
All right, Rob.
All right. Well, y'all have
Talk
a
to you.
blessed day.
Bye.
You
and,
too.
Love you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. So, of course, tomorrow we're live. We're at 8 o'clock. We want you to join us for the encounter. We're at 9:45 for our live discussion. That's 9:45 to 10:45.
Yep.
Okay, that's with the whole package.
The whole package.
Okay, and then 11 a.m. again. We have service now. 6 tomorrow. We're
not doing anything. She probably gonna play
Is communion
something.
tomorrow?
No, communion's Sunday coming.
Okay, when's 10 times better start?
That's
again?
going to start back in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was amazed to see Hank Aaron, Larry King, Cicely Tyson, and John Chaney
Yeah.
all passed away within days of one another.
Yeah.
Wow.
People from this area don't know how big John Chaney was in the Philly area. Man, he was it. He was it.
He was a lunatic coach too, man. But he had Chaney playing. He had Temple playing ball like nobody's business, man.
Yeah, they showed him fight with Calipari when he.
Man. Oh yeah. You see when he went in the locker room?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he crazy, man. This has been On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Thank you for calling us today. Our callers from around the nation. Those of you watching us around the world, won't you send us a post, an inbox? Let us know how you're enjoying the program, from what part of the world you're watching us from. For Reverend Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans, and I want you to remember this one thing. Faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you. See you next week on Point.